Most people go to war with enemies they've never truly seen. And because they don't understand them, they end up fighting battles they never needed to fight. Sun Tzu warned us over 2,500 years ago. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. But today, most of us wage war fueled by emotion, anger, resentment, ego. We fight out of hate, not understanding, and hate blinds us. Hate clouds our strategy. Hate makes us weak. Sun Tzu taught a better way. See the enemy clearly. Fight with no hate. Win before conflict even begins. This is the doctrine we explore today. The ancient, disciplined, and masterful mindset of Sun Tzu. A mindset that transforms how you deal with people, challenges, competition, betrayal, and adversity. Let us begin. Sun Tzu begins. The art of war with one principle. War is a matter of vital importance, a matter of life and death. But before he speaks of soldiers or swords, he speaks of clarity, not action, not force, clarity. To Sun Tzu, the first battle is perception. Not the battlefield outside, but the battlefield inside your mind. He teaches 5 constant factors that govern victory. The moral law, alignment of the people, heaven, timing, seasons, conditions, earth, terrain, distance, obstacles, the commander, wisdom, sincerity, courage, method and discipline, organization, strategy, structure. These are not emotional. These are not fueled by hate. These are measured, observed, studied. Sun Tzu's doctrine begins with a simple truth. You lose when you act from emotion. You win when you act from clarity. That is why he commands, he who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not, will be victorious. You cannot lie in wait with a heart full of rage. You cannot observe your opponent with a mind on fire. To see clearly, you must be calm. To understand the enemy, you must remove hate. Because hate does not sharpen vision, it distorts it. This is the foundation of Sun Tzu's strategic doctrine. Sun Tzu rarely mentions anger directly, but his warnings are everywhere. When the general is angry, he cannot think clearly. He teaches that emotions create 3 strategic weaknesses. 1. Emotional reaction reveals your intentions. When you act from anger, you show your hand. An intelligent opponent will exploit it. 2. Hate clouds judgment. It makes small threats look big and big threats look small. 3. Emotion leads to predictable, reckless action. Predictability is defeat. Recklessness is ruin. To Sun Tzu, the greatest enemy in any war is not another army. It is your own uncontrolled mind. This is why he builds a philosophy of emotional neutrality, a kind of strategic stillness. He teaches, do not press a desperate foe, meaning, do not let anger make you reckless. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak, meaning, do not let emotion dictate your appearance. Hold out baits to entice the enemy, meaning, use strategy, not emotion. Every principle centers on control, not of others, but of yourself. To fight with no hate is not moral softness, it is strategic superiority. Hate is for those who are not yet in command of themselves. Sun Tzu says, to win 100 battles is not the highest skill. The highest skill is to subdue the enemy without fighting. How can you subdue the enemy without fighting? By understanding them deeper than they understand themselves. This requires 3 acts of clarity. 1. See the enemy as they truly are, not as you wish them to be. Anger creates fantasies. Imagination exaggerates threats. But Sun Tzu warns, one cannot enter battle without calculations. Emotion destroys calculations. Clarity restores them. 2. Study the enemy's motives. He says, know the enemy's plans. Do they want power, money, validation, revenge? Do they want your position, your influence, or simply to test you? Sun Tzu is clear. When you understand their motives, you control the battlefield. 3. Know the enemy's strengths and weaknesses. Sun Tzu lists 5 types of danger: recklessness, cowardice, overconcern, quick temper, too much compassion. If you see these weaknesses clearly, you can predict an enemy's behavior. And when you can predict someone, you no longer fear them. This is where Sun Tzu's doctrine shines. Understanding replaces fear. Clarity replaces hate. Wisdom replaces emotional reaction. Sun Tzu famously says, "He who knows himself and knows the enemy will not be imperiled." But people often forget the order he gives: know yourself first. To Sun Tzu, the greatest commander is not one who conquers others. It is one who conquers himself. He teaches 4 inner disciplines. 1. Master your intentions. Act for purpose, not emotion. Every move must be deliberate. 2. Cultivate stillness. He says, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity, but you cannot see opportunity if you are overwhelmed by emotion. 3. Remove ego. Sun Tzu despises arrogance. He warns, he who is arrogant is doomed, not because arrogance is immoral, but because arrogance blinds. 4. Strengthen discipline. Sun Tzu says, without discipline, defeat is certain. Your emotions must obey you. Your impulses must obey you. Your mind must obey you. Only then can you see clearly. Only then can you fight with no hate. Sun Tzu's most famous and misunderstood principle is, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. This doctrine is often taken as pacifism, but Sun Tzu was not teaching peace. He was teaching efficiency. Why conquer with force when you can conquer with strategy? He teaches 5 ways to win without fighting. 1. Break the enemy's resistance through understanding. Study their motives, understand their fears, predict their moves. When someone feels exposed, they often retreat without a fight. 2. Use position to make battle unnecessary. Sun Tzu teaches, he who occupies the field of battle first has the advantage. If your preparation, alignment, alliances and resources are superior, the enemy will not attack. 3. Attack their plans, not their people. Sun Tzu says, to fight and conquer is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence is breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. The battle is won in the mind of the opponent long before swords clash. 4. Strike only when victory is certain. He teaches, do not engage unless the victory is assured. This requires emotional neutrality. 5. Appear unpredictable. He says, let your plans be dark and impenetrable. When the enemy cannot read you, they cannot fight you. Through these principles, Sun Tzu teaches you to become strategically invisible and emotionally untouchable. Sun Tzu gives a powerful framework. Know the enemy's disposition. This means understanding 5 things. 1. Their morale. Are they confident, doubtful, divided? Morale predicts how long they can resist. 2. Their leadership. Sun Tzu says, the commander is the soul of the army. A weak leader weakens the entire force. 3. Their resources. Do they have strength, support, allies, running low on supplies? Sun Tzu used this to predict when enemies would retreat. 4. Their structure. Are they organized, chaotic? Do they follow orders, ignore them? 5. Their environment. Heaven and earth, timing and terrain influence behavior. Seeing the enemy clearly is not personal, it is analytical. Emotional detachment is essential. Sun Tzu teaches that knowledge replaces conflict. Once you truly understand someone, you don't need hate. And often, you don't need to fight at all. Sun Tzu never uses the word hate, but he constantly warns against every behavior that leads to it. Hate is impulsive. Hate is blinding. Hate is reactive. Hate is predictable. Hate is exhausting. Sun Tzu says, energy may be likened to the bending of a bow, decision to the releasing of a trigger. Hate causes premature release, waste of energy, bad timing. A strategist must conserve energy for the moment of maximum impact. Emotion burns energy without producing results. That is why Sun Tzu's doctrine is, do not hate your enemy, study your enemy. Do not react to your enemy, anticipate your enemy. Do not chase your enemy, guide your enemy. Hate destroys insight. Clarity reveals opportunity. Victory is built on clarity. Sun Tzu repeatedly instructs commanders to rise above emotion. He teaches, calmness is the cornerstone of good strategy, and a commander who is controlled by emotions is vulnerable. Detachment is not coldness, it is professionalism. A surgeon cannot hate the disease. A strategist cannot hate the opponent. A leader cannot hate the rival. A warrior cannot hate the battlefield. Detachment gives you clearer perception. Detachment gives you deeper insight. Detachment gives you stronger timing. Detachment gives you less fear. Detachment gives you less ego. Detachment gives you less anxiety. Detachment gives you more control. Sun Tzu said, "He who excels in resolving difficulties does so before they arise." You cannot prevent conflict if you are drowning in emotion. Sun Tzu's most profound idea is formlessness. He teaches, be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Formlessness means your mind is not fixed, your strategy is not rigid, your emotions are not predictable, your intentions are unseen, your movements are fluid. Hate is rigid. Hate makes you predictable. Hate gives you form. Clarity makes you fluid. Patience makes you formless. Wisdom makes you invisible. Sun Tzu says, move by unexpected routes and attack unguarded spots. If you think with emotion, the enemy sees you. If you think with clarity, you disappear. Sun Tzu gives a complete toolkit for dealing with opponents. 1. If they are arrogant, undermine them with humility. He says, pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. Arrogance blinds an enemy. 2. If they are cautious, tempt them with bait. Sun Tzu repeatedly uses psychological traps. 3. If they are emotional, exhaust them. He teaches, hold out baits, tire them. Emotion consumes energy quickly. 4. If they are impulsive, confuse them. Confusion leads them into mistakes. 5. If they are slow, pressure them. Slow opponents collapse under multiple demands. 6. If they are strong, avoid them. Sun Tzu says, he who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will be victorious. Avoiding a battle is not weakness, it is strategy. 7. If they are weak, offer them a way out. A cornered enemy becomes dangerous. Give them escape and they will retreat. None of these require hate, only clarity. Sun Tzu says, opportunities multiply as they are seized. But he warns that the wrong moment destroys everything. To him, timing is sacred. He teaches 3 rules of timing. 1. Strike when the enemy is unprepared. This is not cruelty, it is efficiency. 2. Wait when you are not prepared. This requires controlling emotion. Impatience is defeat. 3. Attack only when victory is certain. He says, do not engage unless the victory is assured. Emotions magnify the immediate. Emotions rush ahead of wisdom. Emotions cloud the path. Emotions distort perception. Emotion wants to act immediately. Wisdom waits for the moment that ensures success. Sun Tzu is famous for saying, all warfare is based on deception. But deception is not cruelty. It is technique. He teaches, let the enemy believe you are weak. Let the enemy misjudge your position. Let the enemy underestimate your strength. Let the enemy reveal their emotions. Deception works best when you feel nothing. The moment you hate the enemy, deception becomes harder, because hate makes you reveal your hand. Sun Tzu's deception comes from calmness, from insight, from understanding. Sun Tzu's doctrine is more than strategy. It is a complete mental transformation. He builds a warrior who is emotionally disciplined, mentally still, strategically sharp, patient and observant, focused on long-term victory, free from hate, free from ego, free from fear. He teaches, victory is reserved for those who are willing to pay its price. The price is self-mastery. He also teaches, to fight and conquer is not excellence. To win without fighting is excellence. To Sun Tzu, the highest victory is internal. Once you master yourself, all external conflicts become easier. Sun Tzu lists 5 fatal flaws for a commander: recklessness, cowardice, quick temper, overconcern for reputation, excessive compassion. These flaws cause defeat more than any enemy. Notice, 3 of the 5 flaws are emotional. Sun Tzu is obsessed with emotional neutrality because he knows the general who loses his temper loses the war. The general who fears conflict loses territory. The general who chases reputation loses judgment. Your enemy is not the problem. Your reactions are the problem. To see the enemy clearly, you must first see your own flaws clearly. Sun Tzu's doctrine applies to life today. 1. In competition, understand rivals. Predict their moves. Stay calm when they react emotionally. 2. In relationships, don't fight with anger. Understand motives. De-escalate through clarity. 3. In leadership, win loyalty through moral alignment, not force. People follow calm leaders. 4. In personal growth, study your weaknesses. Remove emotional obstacles. 5. In negotiation, observe the other side. Use timing and positioning. 6. In adversity, stay still inside. React only when necessary. Sun Tzu gives you the mindset of a strategic warrior, a mind that sees clearly, acts wisely, and never wastes energy. Sun Tzu is not teaching violence. He is not teaching dominance. He is teaching mastery. The goal is not endless conflict. The goal is victory without unnecessary war. He teaches, there is no instance of a country benefiting from prolonged warfare. In modern terms, prolonged conflict drains your energy. Prolonged drama steals your focus. Prolonged arguments destroy opportunities. Prolonged hate weakens the mind. Seeing the enemy clearly means seeing them beyond emotion. Fighting with no hate means fighting with strategy, not anger. And winning without fighting means rising above conflict entirely. Sun Tzu's doctrine leads to the ultimate strategic truth. When you master your emotions, you master every battlefield. When you master clarity, you master every outcome. When you fight without hate, you are undefeatable. Sun Tzu teaches that the true warrior is not the one who destroys enemies, but the one who neutralizes conflict before it begins. The true strategist is not the one who uses force, but the one who uses wisdom. The true victor is not the one who hates, but the one who sees. The world is full of people who react, people who rage, people who fight blindly. But the strategist, the disciplined one, the Sun Tzu trained mind, is different. You will not hate your enemy. You will not fear your enemy. You will not underestimate your enemy. You will see your enemy clearly, calmly, completely. And because you see clearly, you will choose your battles wisely. You will fight with precision. You will win with discipline. And most of all, you will rise above the battlefield entirely. This is Sun Tzu's strategic doctrine. See the enemy clearly. Fight with no hate. Win without fighting. And move through life undefeated.